pledges in our communities, that we do it so everyone else looks at what we do and sees what we do. On this one side, it's very important that the individual, when they're giving, they give out of themselves, strictly for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other important point that people need to understand is that when someone gives or when someone does a good deed, that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one to judge them. For when they do not do the good deed, there is no way that they can claim they've done anything good if it wasn't for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is said that there was these two alims one time, two great scholars, and they made a pledge to one another that said, whoever dies first, I will tell you what it is like in the grave, and I will tell you what my experiences were. I'll tell you through a dream. So they agreed to this. So it is said that one scholar, when they became old in age, he passed away. And the other scholar, he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he gets to see him in the dream. In fact, he waited for it because he assumed that this man was such a mu'min man that he's going to have the spiritual ability to come and visit him in his dream. And we know many incidents like this. So it is said that this man waited one day to see his friend in the dream. Nothing. Second day, nothing. Third day again, he waited, and absolutely nothing happened. So it said after about a week or so, finally this other Maulana, the Sheikh, he came to him in the dream. And he said, my brother, he said, where have you been? He said, I've been waiting for you. He said, I was very scared for you. I was worried that you did not get the position, you did not get the ability to come and visit me. So he said, I'm sorry, but for the last few days, I was being questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he said, being questioned so much? He says, yes, I gave many fiqh rulings. I gave many rules on the jurisprudence, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to know where I got some of these things from. And then he says, but for such a long time, he says, no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was questioning me. He went through my checklist of deeds, and he said, nothing of yours is accepted. So he said that I always used to lead the prayers every Thursday. So he said, but you did it, and you were looking at the people, you wanted the status. So he said, but I used to lead Salatul Jummah. And he says, yes, but the same thing, you wanted a lot of people to come, and when only a few people came on Friday, you would say, you guys are bad people. That you guys only... But your intention was not to tell them that because they missed their Friday prayer, but because you wanted more people to come the next week. So he says, but I gave so many majalis. He says, when you used to give the majalis, you used to only say that I only want to do it for the money. And believe me, there's not that much money involved if any of you guys are thinking about it. He said that I used to recite the dua. He said, yes, you used to recite the dua in the home, but when you used to come and recite it in the masjid, all your good deeds, all the deeds of the dua went away. So it says that he keeps on going one by one, and seeing all of the checklist of this man's deeds, and he realized that there's absolutely nothing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling this man, he said in his dream. So then he's telling his friend in the dream, he said that I was going to be plunged into the fires of hell. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to punish me for all of these things that I've done because I have nothing good on my account. And then he said, wait, one action you did that was good in your entire life. So he said, what? He said, one day you were walking down the street and you saw a mother and her young son, and you were eating a pear. And you took one bite, and the young boy, he saw you eating the pear, and he told his mother, he said, oh mom, I want one too. So the mother said, no, not right now, because we don't have enough money. I'll give it to you when I get home. And he's going to be like, no, we want it now, we want it now, we want it now. You went across the street and you gave that kid the pear. After you did this little bit of an action, and you gave out of yourself, you did not even think about, look how good of an action that I did. Not for one moment, you thought. And because of this reason, you're going to be rewarded for all of your other deeds. And the idea that sincerity, being sincere in everything, is the most important objective in one's life in terms of worship. But again, when we talk about this concept about giving, and when we talk about this concept of a clean intention, most of the time in our communities, it comes during the time of giving money, giving charity. For many people, I'm sure, have come forth and given you and this community and every other community a lecture on the importance of giving charity. But I'm not here to lecture you or tell you anything about the importance of giving charity except doing it with a clean intention. Because everyone can come and say, give money. Or everyone can say and come and give time. Or give food. Or give water. Or give whatever you possibly can. Yes, we understand this concept. And this is a concept that always needs to be re-said. And there's no problem about that. But again, the important thing is that when you give, if you do not give for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you really haven't given anything. Because you're only giving it for the sake of the people. Now when we want to go and we want to know how do we give, the first thing that we need to do is begin to humble ourselves. That who are we? Who are we to think that any of our deeds are going to be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We cannot believe that any of our pitiful deeds have been accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is impossible. When one believes that his deed has been accepted, I'm sure his deed has not been accepted. Similarly, this concept is not only specific to the religion of Islam, but if you go and you look into Buddhism, in Buddhism it says that to reach the enlightenment, you need to go through many different spiritual steps. And when one believes that they've reached the enlightenment, which is the highest stage of spirituality, when someone believes that they've reached it, they're supposed to know that no, they haven't reached it. When the thought comes into their mind that, look, I've reached such a spiritual position, they must immediately say, absolutely not. Similarly, when we go to the dimension of akhlaq, the scholars of akhlaq in the religion of Islam, what do they say? They say when you believe that you've attained something, some proximity toward God, know that you haven't done anything. All you have to do is go and reflect about how your day went. You are a man who was sleeping 8 hours of your day. You slept away 1/3 of your day. Then you woke up and then you used the bathroom. And that can be nothing except for a humbling act. Yes? Furthermore, we go and you reflect on all of your actions throughout the day. And you realize that what you do is very little. Yet what we think is so big. Then again, we have to go back. We have to go back in our minds. We have to go back in our books and say, how do we know? Or how are we sure? Or what examples can we take from those who gave strictly for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It is said that one time a poor man, he came toward Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. So he came to Imam Ali alayhi salam. And I don't know if you guys have beggars over here in Miami. I haven't seen many over here, but if you go to New York, you see a lot of them. And they come to you when they're driving. So it says one day Imam Ali alayhi salam, he was walking in the street. And a beggar, he came to him. And many times when the beggar comes to us, we see them like he's wearing like the Michael Jordan sneakers and stuff like that. And he's wearing all these nice clothes, but he says like, I can't afford to eat. And he's like 300 pounds. And it's like, how can you not afford to eat, brother? Well, so it says that one day this man came to Imam Ali alayhi salam. He said, oh Imam, he says, look at me, I'm very poor. I'm very poor. Can you give me something? So it said that, of course, to every being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests even Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, in order that their position gets raised. Not that they've committed a sin or any act of makruh, no. But when they go through a test, Ahlul Bayt, it is so that their position gets raised once they pass that test. It is a gift to Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So they said when this man came to Imam Ali alayhi salam, also shaitan came with him. And he said, oh Imam, this man is saying, oh Imam, he said, I need some money. I'm poor. So it is said that shaitan came and he tried to do his little whispers to Imam Ali alayhi salam, and he saw the shoes of this beggar. And he says, they must be Steve Madden's. I don't know about this. And then he saw his shirt and he said, this must be Gucci or something. And he's going through and he's thinking of all the things about this man. And then all of a sudden Ali ibn Abi Talib recognizes that this shaitan trying to come in. It says that whenever Imam Ali alayhi salam used to kill someone, he used to take his sword and say, Quduha wa ana Ali. Take this and know that I am Ali ibn Abi Talib. So it is said that this Imam Ali took out some money from his pocket and he said, Quduha wa ana Ali. Maybe that man, he probably was about to run away at that moment. He thought Imam Ali was going to kill him. And then he went and he put the money in his hand, and the man ran away. And it said that at that moment, one of the companions, Ammar or Miqdad, or one of the companions of Imam Ali, were also walking in the street. They said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. They said, when you're about to kill someone, the famous call that all of Arabia knows is, Quduha wa ana Ali. Take this and know that I am Ali ibn Abi Talib. Why did you say to the poor man? He said that Shaitan came and tried to tell me, look at his shoes and look at his shirt and look at his pants. So I wasn't telling that man, take this. I was telling the Shaitan, قُبْهَا وَأَنَا